a lot of people that are watching this probably know me from bar agencies, like what we're known for in the industry, building all the custom software and technology for a lot of the world's biggest teams that exist out there. And this whole thing came about because Levi Rogers, who's one of our bar agency clients, like 2 years ago, he called out of the blue and he goes, "Hey man, I'm a little tired of Zillow having all of this really great data on my calls, and I'm jealous. Can you guys use that AI witch magic and get me some of that data?" And welcome to Bar Agency, where we constantly get a call that's like, "Hey, could you build this impossible thing that's never been done before, and do it pretty quickly, please?" So we got to work, and a month later, we had a prototype spooled up attached to his Follow Boss account, and listening to every single. And like, to put that in perspective, you know this, but like maybe not everybody else does. But the 2 years ago was early days of AI. That was before they were even labeled GPT. The models' names were Gabbage and Da Vinci and all kinds of weird stuff back then, right?
Yeah.
So like the
But
original models. So like we had it attached to his FUB. It was listening to all the calls, giving a star rating, summary, dispositioning it, like the outcome automatically, and then one line kind of generic agent coaching, because back then it didn't have any training and all of that good stuff. And we thought it'd just be another cool thing that Barra had built for another awesome client. And well, over 6 months, we watched two things that really got us off the bench. We watched his sales managers go from, he's a big team, so like 300 agents, right? We watched his sales managers go from managing 30 agents a piece to 90 agents a piece. And that was alarming to see that amount. And Levi, if anybody knows, he's a tier 2 operator, Green Beret, Purple Heart recipient. Like, he's an actual war hero, and he rules that team like you would think that somebody like that rules that team. I love him to death, and I knew that there was no chance in the world that his sales managers did that just on their own, basically without his permission, right? So I called him and asked him what was going on. He said, "Man, they would use most of their time sitting around trying to figure out how to listen to all the calls, digest what happened, and then try to get that back to the agents in a form of coaching that they would accept." And there's,
yeah.
Interpersonal issues, all kinds of stuff that's a big equation to make that happen. And he said they got all that time back, and because it's all the calls and it's a robot that's doing it, my agents actually will take the advice a little bit more, because it's not someone's opinion, it's just a matter of fact what it is. And that was interesting,
It's
but
data.
yeah, it's data. There's no emotion behind it. It's not because my sales manager doesn't like me or my coach doesn't like me or whatever that is, or that they cherry
Mm.
picked the 4 calls that I did that one thing on. I never do it outside of those 4 calls. And that was really interesting. But the real thing that got us off the bench to build it was over a 6-month span. When we first introduced it, we didn't create a way for his agents to log in because, well, we just thought maybe this is a tool for admin, sales managers, team leaders, things like that. But about 2 weeks in, his agents were blowing us up, asking for access to see it, which was unique. So we built a way for his agents to log in. And the very next month, his call volume clicked up by 40%. And that like caught our attention. So we followed that
Whoa.
for another like 4 months. So now we got like a 6-month snippet, right? And during those 6 months, he was down 40% on lead flow, but he ended up being up 90% on call volume overall, because we're gamifying quality of conversation, and we were getting feedback that it's making calls fun again, right? Like making 100
Mm.
calls is no fun, but trying to figure out
Yeah.
how to get a 5-star call every single time you make a call kind of introduces this gamification part to it. And our theory was, okay, if gamification of quality of conversation is working, then the tailing indicator that proves it should be appointment set. And lo and behold, 99.1% increase on appointment set with 40% less leads. And his agents were logging into the prototype about twice as much as his sales managers were. Like that, okay, that's
Wow.
special. Whatever we just stumbled upon there accidentally is special. So that kicked us
Yeah.
off into a journey of spending about a year of our lives working in secret, downloading 3 million hours of real estate calls and training Shiloh from the ground up to like intricately understand what we are looking for as real estate agents and team leaders and sales managers, and also recruiters and inside sales agents, how to perform our jobs at a higher level with greater efficiency, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the origin story anyways of how we
I
got
love
here.
that, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad that we got to see some of that building from kind of the beginning to where you're at now. So show us what this looks like, because I think
Yeah.
it's a big piece of where our industry is going to be in the very near future.
Yeah, the AI stuff got a bad rap
Mhm.
over the past 6 months because there were a lot of implementations of it that were not stellar, basically. So we had a little bit of an uphill fight, in the very beginning, trying to figure out how to get people to believe that this could actually effectively do something in their organization, right? So this is Shiloh.
Yeah,
Whenever you log into it, if any of my operations people are listening, this will be music to your ears. It's literally 5 minutes to install Shiloh. It is not a take over your life for 3 months kind of thing. So many of our demos just turn into same day onboardings because it literally is that fast, right? And when you connect
that's
it
beautiful.
via API key in your database, you got teams and groups and sources and tags and uh, stages, all of that stuff. You make those changes in your CRM the way that you're used to, and we reflect it here in real time. And then keywords, number of calls, outcomes, ratings, objections, we're generating all of that with the AI. So there's literally no configuration. You just throw in your API key and Shiloh is live doing what it does best, right? So this call rating, though, is kind of what gives context to everything. And I think it's important for
Okay.
people to understand it because without knowing what that call rating is, the fact that,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, this refreshes live every time a call happens. So that way you can hang it up in your bullpen, or it was made to hang up like in person in a sales office somewhere. But it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense if you don't understand what Shiloh is looking for. So it's a rating scale from 1 to 5, and a 1 to 2 means it needs improvement. A 3 is a satisfactory call. A 4 is a great call, and 5 is you should download it, train future agents with it, celebrate it, like incentivize it, because it doesn't happen that
Love it.
often, right? It really
Oh,
is,
very cool.
no pun intended, the gold star that we're all chasing here. We've gotten some feedback back from some of our teams that they said they knew it was working when they heard agents bragging to other agents about how many 5-star calls they had. So it created this fun gamification. But Shiloh's taking into consideration a myriad of things in its assessment of that call rating. But if you take all of those things it's looking at and put them together into 3 categories, there's 3 categories that Shiloh really wants you to care about on every single
Okay.
call. So the first thing is it wants you to inspire confidence in the person that you're speaking to. Because if we can inspire
Mhm.
confidence, it creates trust. And if somebody trusts us, everything becomes easier from then on out, right? But the
True.
reason I call it a category is even as a real estate sales agent, there's a myriad of ways that you could do that with somebody. And then we add in recruiters, we add in transaction managers, non-licensed ISAs. Now that bucket of things that we can do to actually inspire confidence becomes bigger and bigger, which is why it's a category. There's many ways to check off that one category. The second category is your proficiency in handling objections and answering questions without being salesy or deceptive. If you say something that is not true, Shiloh will call you on that and gently remind you that that thing that you just said was not true. And then the third thing it cares a whole lot about is making sure that you get sales momentum, continuing moving forward with some kind of next step at all times. So 1 to 2 rated call means that you failed at 1 or 2 or all 3 of those categories. But a 3-star call, and by the way, we're looking at a live organization. This is Levi's org, like live data that we're looking at right now. A 3-star
Mhm.
call means that they checked off all 3 boxes at an intermediate level, which is awesome. Like, congratulations, high five, job well done. But there will still be room for improvement on that. So maybe I do
Yeah.
something that newer agents are more prone to doing, like, hey, Tristan, good talking to you. I'm going to send you all these listings in a little bit. And when you see something you love, like, let me know right away and I'll set it up for us to see. That sounds good. It sounds urgent, but it's not actually the most ideal kind of next step. So Shiloh is going to give me the agent coaching feedback, which I'll show you guys here in just a second, with real like coaching replacement phrases that say, hey, Justin, what you should have said was, hey, Tristan, in about 15 minutes, I'm going to send you all these listings in your email. And I'm wide open tomorrow, Saturday. Like, let's just get a time on the calendar now to go see your top 2 or 3 homes. That's
Yeah.
really our best next step here. So Shiloh's searching for and coaching towards a solidified, kind of committed time and date. And it's its assessment of what an excellent version of that is, right? And that would historically bring it to a 4. And now, how do we get to a 5-star call? The difference between a 4 and 5 is all the soft skills of sales. So being able to anchor positive emotions, build rapport, mirror cadences of the people that we're speaking to, manage our own emotional state going into those conversations, because Shiloh is aware of tonality as well. And we'll call you out for being flat and not energetic, because our emotions, they broadcast through the phone to the other human being that that we're talking to, right? So if I wanted to get that example to a 5-star call and say you are a first-time home buyer, fastest way I do something like that is to go, all right, Tristan, I got us all I got us all penciled in for 1 o'clock tomorrow. I'm excited to meet you, man. But honestly, I'm excited for you to finally move into a home and not have some landlord you've never met in your life force you to patch all the holes, and you just pray to God you get your security deposit back 3 weeks later. Like that, those days are
Yeah.
done. And like moving into a house that's your own for the first time is a pretty special feeling, honestly. So when we get together tomorrow, I'm going to walk us through all the next steps to help us get there. So that kind of sales proficiency is the only thing that gets a 5-star call to show up, because what I just demonstrated was we were talking about seeing 123 Main Street, but now I
Yeah.
am talking about the pride and excitement of first-time home ownership, and I've greatly reduced the risk of that person not showing up at that house tomorrow, right? So that's that
Justin, I
grading
have a
scale from 1 to 5.
quick question,
Yeah.
only because it came up once and I know others are thinking it. Can you explain how this isn't a CRM and how it attaches to a CRM so people understand that?
Yeah, totally. So it attaches to your CRM's dialer is what ends up happening. So Shiloh is not a CRM. Shiloh receives the phone call recording after you hang up the phone inside of your CRM, and then we get processing and a call screen, and all the analysis will show up in about 30 seconds after you hang up the phone, right? So very, very quickly, very easy to do. And I can show you guys some of that here. So new addresses. One fun thing about this is that even on my demos or webinars, I don't have sample data to pull up. I just literally try to pull up the most recent calls to prove to people that I'm that confident in it, right? So this guy has an interest in purchasing a home in the San Antonio area. All right, this is probably a perfect one to take a peek at. So we're looking at a 4-star call here. And like I said, there is nothing extra that you have to do. Use your dialer in your CRM. This will show up in about 30 seconds. And what's beautiful about it is that we're going to get a summary automatically. We're going to disposition this automatically. So congrats, Stephanie. She set the appointment and she asked for the appointment as well. Sometimes you're going to see things that say appointment not set, no ask for appointment, which is a different kind of coaching feedback that Shiloh's going to give to that agent than somebody that is asking for appointments, but still not setting appointments, right? So the coaching feedback is that granular. And then things like talk to listen ratio, questions asked, filler words, all of that good stuff. But on the right-hand side is where you can interact with the actual call transcript. And this, instead of asking people to thumb through a 9-minute long call transcript, we allow our teams to put in custom keywords in the back end, literally anything at all, words, acronyms, phrases, whatever is most important to that team that they want Shiloh listening along to on every call and flagging those moments when they happen. So that way they're only one click away. So it looks like they mentioned loan 2 times on this call, right? If I click on that, transcript goes down to the 2 moments they mentioned loan, and I can just start playing the call recording back from that moment, right? So it makes it super fast to get to the data that's most important to us. So, but the real magic of Shiloh really shows up here, right? So this is a 4-star call. This is the agent coaching tab. But one fun thing is if you hover over the star rating right here, it's going to tell us what model was used to grade it. First of all, because we have a sales model, customer service model, a recruiting model, and a non-licensed ISA model, because all of those job roles and the requirements, the outcomes slightly different, right? And then we're showing Shiloh's reasoning. So this is directly answering the question, what's the reason Shiloh gave this a 4? We're exposing the way that the AI thought about this call, right? So that way you're free to agree or disagree or whatever that looks like. It's not a black box. We're literally showing you how it arrived at its conclusion. So the first half of the statement will always be what it saw in the call that caused it to give a 4. And then the bottom will be what it thinks could improve, right? So however, the call can be improved by streamlining communication to avoid repetitive questions and ensuring clarity when confirming details like addresses. Additionally, proactively addressing potential objections such as financing options and property availability could further enhance interaction. That's really great data, but most of the time we're going to read stuff like that and go, cool, but how? Like, I don't know how to do that. I need somebody to show me how to do that. So when we go to the agent coaching tab, this is the how behind it, right? So this is the 3 top moments on the call and how they accomplish that, and the 3 possible improvements, right? So streamlining address verification. It talked about that in that little summary. So she spent a significant amount of time clarifying the address of the property Calvin mentioned. To improve efficiency, she could ask for the full address up front and confirm it in one step. For example, could you please provide the full address, including the zip code, so I can pull it up quickly? So I bet during this transcript, what she did is she stumbled around. She said, oh, what street was it? What was the, and it took longer than what was necessary, which erodes your professionalism, right? Reframing budget concerns. When Calvin mentioned wanting to stay under 300 grand and possibly lower, Stephanie could have reframed this as an opportunity, right? So for instance, she
Yeah.
could say, hey, that's a smart budget range. And I specialize in finding properties that offer great value. Let me show you some options that fit perfectly within that range, right? And then anchoring the value of VA benefits. So Levi's team does a lot of transactions for veterans. So this shows up a whole lot, but this is cool because this is showing the specificity of the coaching feedback. This is not generic feedback that it's giving every time. It's only saying this because this stuff happened in this one individual call, right? So Calvin mentioned potentially using a VA loan. You know, she could have anchored the value of its benefits. For example, hey, that's fantastic. VA loans come with a lower interest rate, no down payment, which can make your purchase more affordable. I'll make sure to keep that in mind as we explore your options. This would reinforce our expertise to add value to the conversation. So every single call gets coached to this level, but it actually lives in your CRM. So like Levi is connected to Follow Boss, right? So
Yep.
the CRM client contact button here at the top, if I
Mm-hmm.
click on that, it's going to bring me right back to the contact record here in Follow Boss. And we have a little app built for everybody inside of FUB. So you can see all of the calls that have ever happened. There's only been one call to this lead here. And we can click on that and we can see the summary, the highlights, the agent coaching, any action items that need to happen, the outcome overview, and a little button here that says view in Shiloh. So we can easily navigate back and forth between the two platforms. So those are those
Justin,
individual call screens.
I love this. Two things. One, Nelson Quest, who you know, Agent Fire.
Oh, hey,
He's saying,
Nelson.
he's saying, you've built something that is amazing. He loves you. He thinks you're doing something awesome. So yeah, we all love you, Justin. You're doing something. So thank you for this. And thanks for being on, Nelson. Number two, I can clearly see now, because I've been running a team since 2008.
Yeah.
Um, I can clearly see how how you've created it can land on agent ears a lot better than me or my manager or my lead coordinator saying something like, yo, that last call, it wasn't good. Right?
People get
This-
defensive real fast, huh?
yes, 100%. And then I lose them, right? And they're like,
Yep.
oh, it creates tension. This, though, on the other hand, dude, this makes a lot of sense. This makes
Well, and
sense.
check this out. Like, so obviously we don't coach, we don't judge somebody's performance off of one singular call. We all have bad calls. It is what it
Yeah,
is. We're
we do.
humans, right?
Mhm.
So we have the ability to spool all this data up to the org level for like really your sales managers, the team leaders, everybody like that. So like Levi has a best of Zillow search up here, right? This screen's only for admins and owner accounts in Shiloh, but you can very quickly go, all right, I want to pull a list of all the agents that called Zillow Flex leads that have a rating over 3 stars in the last 30 days and have made at least 20 calls to that lead source in order to qualify for this list. Now at a 300 agents, I just have a list of the top 23 people on this team that are doing the best with that lead source. And obviously you can get real granular with that, but going
Yeah.
back to the coaching of the agent, this is where an agent goes to when they click on this button. So like Jackie Cardenas here, this is her agent coaching profile. So like we have the session replays, we can see what happens when agents log in. And almost always, this is exactly what they do. They log in and they come straight to this screen. And what do? They go to their filter and they go, I want to know how to improve. So they pull up their 1 to 3 star calls. Okay, I'm
Easy.
down to 118. We could poke through all of these calls and try to figure out how to improve, but we shortcutted that for you guys. You can just click on Shiloh Insights. Doesn't matter if it's 118 calls or 518 calls. What's happening right now is Shiloh's reading through 118 calls and doing trend analysis across all of them to give us our top moments and our top improvements over the entire mass of calls to give that macro level coaching feedback that we're searching for as salespeople, right? So
Yeah.
now, like, okay, these are her 1 and 3 star calls. So like her worst performing calls. Here's some stuff that she's consistently doing well. But if she wants to improve on those, here's exactly what needs to happen. Here's the top 3 things that are happening that need to improve on those. So setting clear next steps, instead of saying, I'll follow up soon, she could specify by, hey, I'll call you tomorrow. Like I'll call you at 3 p.m. tomorrow to confirm the details. Reframing challenges positively and leveraging empathy and active listening. These 3 things here is what Jackie should focus on this week in order to improve her call efficiency and set more appointments and close more deals. So this is how we're turning all of these conversations into more closings, because agents are setting more appointments as a result of paying attention to Shiloh's coaching. So
This is awesome. All right, 2 questions. Patty, what's up, Patty? Patty Hamilton, do you have a list of CRMs that are compatible with Shiloh? That's question number 1.
yep, I do. So right now it's Follow Boss and Sierra. We've only been around for 6 months. I know we don't have enough time on this call for me to explain the dream and the roadmap of where we're going, but we're up to some really cool stuff this year. The ones that are in the works right now is that Go High Level will be showing up very, very soon.
Oh,
We are in
dude,
the
that
works.
opens up for everything. Holy cow.
Oh yeah,
Good
yeah.
job.
We did that one on purpose because we're experimenting with some other industries as well.
Mhm.
We're in works with Inside Real Estate, so their whole suite of Bold Trail and KV Core. Commissions Inc. We are en route to right now, and then RedX, so the like famous OG
Oh,
dialer. We are getting integrated with RedX, so that way for the people that are using that multi-line dialer, they can get this
listen,
kind of call analysis right back into RedX. So those are the
that
ones that we're chasing
alone,
down currently.
just RedX alone, man, will be helping our industry on something people really probably didn't even think about. And that will help us not be so 1970s car salesperson,
Yeah.
because a lot of the people, I'm a telemarketer, that's my whole background. A lot of the telemarketers that jump into real estate or that are hardcore dialers are so hardcore. It's like, oh, next. Or yeah, you know what? Screw you. Hang up, right? It's like they're giving
Yeah.
us a bad name. So they need this. They're like, hey, you know what? You suck. You got a 1 star. This is what you need to do better. I think it's going to be magnificent when you tie it to RedX. So
Yeah.
thank you.
And those guys are brilliant over there as well,
They
by the
are,
way.
man.
They are
They are.
very,
Okay.
very smart.
Question number 2 for you. Jan Norton, what's up, Jan? This seems like a great tool, Justin. So do I understand that Shiloh is recording these calls, including the agent and the other person on the call? How does that work?
Yes, so Shiloh is not recording the calls. Your native dialer inside of your CRM, almost all of them have call recording right now. There's a couple like Commissions Inc. that I know mentioned that don't currently have call recording, but they're getting that built in, right? So all that happens is that Shiloh receives that call recording after the fact, and then we get to work and do what we're best at with that call recording. So that's what the AI is receiving. We are not a dialer. There's no phone system that exists here. We want we did that also on purpose, because we do want our agents and our teams utilizing their CRM and using the native dialer that's in there, because that's just going to be better for everybody across the board. So, and
I love
Jan,
that.
yeah, they do need to disclose in some states. The consent laws are state by
Yeah.
state, so you can look at what I mean. Follow Boss has an automatic disclosure in Follow Boss where you can click it on, where right before the call connects, it'll go, "Hey, this call is being recorded," and then that's the
Yeah.
disclosure, and we're done here. You know.
Pretty easy. My
Yep.
state, I need to require it, and all of the calls that we record at the very beginning, it says so. So super easy.
Yep.
It does not affect the call, by the way. People actually pay attention more. All right, next question for you, because we've got a few now. Lauren, where'd it go? Lauren Williams. Um,
Lauren's just trolling me because she's got a
oh,
dream of getting Baird and Warner on this thing, but they're using dial pad right now. So we're we're
oh,
we're, we're
got it.
working it out. I see you over there, Lauren.
All
I
right,
see
good.
you.
That's so funny. All right, Sandy. Sandy next. What's up, Sandy? Do you have an estimated date for the compatibility with Inside's REV CRM?
So inside real estate CRM. So yeah, Bold
Yeah.
Trail and KV Core are currently in the works. I would give it about 3 months. So we have our beta account already hooked up. We're testing it, making sure that everything is rock solid before we go ahead and roll it out to everybody. One thing that you can rest assured on from us over here is that our product mentality is not first but best at all times. So we will never roll anything out without it being thoroughly tested first. So it might
Perfect.
show up faster than 3 months, but I'm not going to overpromise that. So
All right, buddy. And anything you want to add in closing that you wanted to showcase?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to sign up for Shiloh, it's super easy. Quick demo with me. We can walk through it. You can just go to Shiloh.ai to sign up, and it's without an H, so it's Shilo.ai. You can sign up for a demo, and anybody that was on this webinar, just mention that you were here, and you'll get a 20% off discount for the first year of you being around as a thank you to Tristan and all of his incredible humans that are here at Lab Code Agents. So super thankful for you guys.
Nice. And guys, this is recorded too. We just have to edit so that YouTube doesn't knock us out for having numbers on here. So we're going to shade those and then put it up on our YouTube channel. This way people can rewatch it. We'll send it out next week to everybody. That was it. Justin, this is awesome, dude. Please keep me updated with where you're going and what you're doing. All right.
Oh, I'll give you guys a little teaser. 2 weeks ago, I successfully completed a call from my bed next to my wife to Shiloh. And I asked it, so I got a cough like you, man. My kids got me sick. I said, hey, Shiloh, here's the login to my MLS. Here's the login to my zip forms to write contracts. Please look up 123 Main Street. I gave it a real address, but like, I'll just say 123 Main Street. Please look up 123 Main Street and write me an offer with these terms. And guess what? In 4 minutes, it got it done. And I got a text back from Shiloh saying, hey, it was done, ready for you to review. So just to give you a glimpse into what we're up to over here, that is actually where we are headed as a company. And we're headed there very quickly. So all of those kinds of features showing up within this calendar year. So I'm real excited for it.
Dude, I love that. I love that. Let me see what I missed. Thank you. This was great. Thank you, Zuriel. Thank you. Uh, what's the cost of this annually or monthly?
Based on the amount of hours that you guys calls you make, starting at the first tier of hours is only 199 bucks a month. So
Perfect. How can you use this with KV Core? It's coming, Sandy,
yep.
very soon. All right, we're good. Justin, that was awesome, buddy. Thank you for
Dude,
doing
thank
this.
you so much for taking the time and having me, man. Like honored. I feel like a celebrity getting to be on Lab
This,
Code Agents
dude, this was
finally.
great, man. I love this. Keep up the amazing work. This is beautiful. Thank you for creating this.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.